Let's bring in James Foster. He's CEO of cybersecurity platform ZeroFox. Foster, as you go by, it's great to have you here tonight. And I do want to break this down because we've seen many states, and we've seen from the federal government standpoint, we've seen some laws go into place to ban TikTok on government phones, for example. There's talk and reports about things like surveillance, but the idea that it's actually a security risk. From your standpoint, tell me what you've seen and why not only individuals but companies need to be aware.
Well, good evening. Look, I think there's a broad point we need to make here. China doesn't care about your privacy. Personal privacy has been intertwined in the fabric of the United States since the Bill of Rights. Thank you, James Madison. These expectations were modernized in 1974 by the U.S. Privacy Act, and they're constantly being tweaked by our regulatory bodies today. China doesn't have anything like that. I mean, look at what they've done in their own country. The government has access to over 400 million cameras and over 1 billion smartphones in their country. That's more cameras than we have people in the United States. And they're on every block and in every building, and they're taking that sentiment globally. And they don't care about their own citizens' privacy, yet alone ours. So whether it's a spy balloon or TikTok on your phone, China doesn't believe that you have an inherent right to privacy, nor ours. And that fundamental difference in privacy beliefs leads to the security challenges and the security risks that we see in the United States today.
So let's talk a little bit about those challenges and those risks, because you've testified before Congress to talk about this very subject.
Yeah, look, China's gathering information now on 200 million people throughout the U.S. on TikTok, and more than 5x that globally, because TikTok is an intelligence goldmine for China. When you register TikTok on your phone, you have to use a legitimate phone number first, can't be a virtual phone number. Then you can share your name, birth date, phone's entire contact list, access to your camera and microphone. This creates a social graph for them that now have over 1 billion users, and they know who you are and where you live and what you like. But what's really interesting here with the technology that's out there now with artificial intelligence, before I could tell that you were a 30-year-old living in DC. Now, I can tell that you're a 35-year-old living in D.C. as a health worker with a wife, 2 kids under 5, and with an AI model, I can predict who you're going to vote for in the next election. This is one of the things that's really, really terrifying those on Capitol Hill today, is that a government may know who is going to be elected before we do as the general public.
So just to back up for a minute, because you can make similar arguments about a Meta, perhaps, or even a Snap in terms of data collection and just how much it tells about and reflects back onto users. But TikTok is owned by ByteDance. I think they would probably say, hey, we're a U.S. subsidiary. We're headquartered here in the U.S. We're in talks with CFIUS right now about the possibility of a third party in the U.S. overseeing the code, although I think there's some debate about what that technology transfer and whether that could even happen. What makes TikTok, from your standpoint as a cybersecurity expert, what makes TikTok in particular such a big security risk? And you've outlined some of this already. And what companies need to know about that as they assess that risk, especially as it does compare to, say, the American social media companies?
Look, you had a speaker on just a couple times ago when Richard talked about the military and private sectors fusing in China. That's exactly right. And it fuses into the technology sector as well. And we've seen that China has not been afraid to put their finger down and say, this is what we're going to do in the technology sector. We want access to your information. You have to conduct a security review. So let's make no mistake and not pretend that China doesn't have access to ByteDance and any of the technology and or data it wants to get its hands on. And we've seen in the last 90 days at ZeroFox an increase of over 700% in fake accounts, scams, and malicious content on TikTok. And that catalyst event was the government started banning TikTok. And so it brought awareness to TikTok. It brought awareness on, well, what's out there, what should be vulnerable. And they are using this now as a catalyst to attack organizations and individuals.